We're finished with the registration form. The next thing to tackle is the login form. A lot of what we'll be doing is the same as before. Unlike last time, I won't draw this out into about a dozen lectures. We'll fly right by this. We'll start by opening the login form component. As you may recall, we separated the forms into separate components for easier management. In the previous section, we've taken care of validating the login form. The next thing to take care of is to send the login data to Firebase. The logic for performing a login will be outsourced into an action. From this component, we are going to run the action function. Let's prepare the component before defining the action function. At the top of the script block, import the map actions function from the Pinia package. Next, import the user store with a name called useUserStore. Let's map a function called Authenticate. This function doesn't exist, but that's perfectly fine. We're just trying to prepare the component. After preparing the component, we'll define this function. Inside the methods object, run the map actions function with the spread operator. Pass in the user store. Lastly, in an array, add the authenticate function. We can call this function from within the login method. After updating the alert message, let's call the this.authenticate function with the values argument. The values argument is where we're keeping the email and password input values. This argument is provided by the vForm component when the form is submitted. One last thing, we'll add the await keyword before dispatching the action. The action we're going to write will have asynchronous code. We want to wait until the action is complete. Make sure the async keyword is added before the name of the function. Just in case, we're going to wrap the dispatch with a try-catch block. If an error occurs, we'll want to handle it. Inside the catch statement, we're going to update the login in submission data property to false. We'll update the login alert variant property to bgred500. Lastly, we're going to update the login alert message property to the following message: invalid login details. Be sure to return the function to stop the function from further execution. We won't need to make any more changes to the login form component. We'll next move on to the store file to define the action. Inside the actions object, define the authenticate function. Since we'll be making an asynchronous request to Firebase, the function should have the async keyword before it. We are being passed down data from the component. We'll want to accept it. Add the values argument to the function. The function will be straightforward. There are two tasks we'll perform. First, we'll send a request to Firebase with the payload data. If the request is a success, we'll want to commit a mutation to log the user in the state. Inside the action, call the function auth.signin with email and password. I'm introducing a new function. It comes with the authentication object we imported. It'll sign the user into the application with their email and password. It has two arguments, the email and password. These exist within the payload. We'll set the arguments to their respective payload values. This request is asynchronous. We'll need to add the await keyword before calling the function. If the function successfully authenticates the user, we can toggle the user logged in state property to true. Otherwise, the function would throw an error. The next line of code would never run. We're done. We don't have to wrap the asynchronous function with a try-catch block because it'll throw an error if the authentication was unsuccessful. Errors will stop the function from executing further. Let's try giving things a test. Before you do, I recommend clearing the site data to start with a fresh slate. In the Chrome Developer Tools, navigate to the Application panel. On the sidebar, there will be an option to clear the storage. Click on the Clear Site Data button. Once you've got that settled, refresh the page. Then, try logging in with an account that doesn't exist. We'll receive an error message. If we look in the console, an error will be logged from the request sent by the Firebase SDK. In addition, we should check the mutation log. The action did not commit the mutation because the request threw an error. Even though we didn't return the function ourselves, the error stopped the function from executing further. Now let's try logging in with valid credentials. We will receive a success message. If I were to refresh the page, we'd continue to be logged in because Firebase stores the token. It'll take care of verifying if the user is logged in afterward. That's great. We've successfully created a login and registration form. After confirming everything, pat yourself on the back. We've had to do a lot to get this working. I know we flew right by this pretty quickly, but this shouldn't be anything new. Almost everything was the same except for the function for signing the user in. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to the Sign In with Email and Password function. I recommend checking it out if you'd like to learn more about it.